edition of the Dog or Pass podcast. I'm your host, Paul Shaughnessy, joined in studio, as always, from your friend and mine, Mr. Cody Saftic, breaking down UFC London. And nobody really has, the books don't really have love. Nobody really has much love for this card. So you'll see I don't want people in the comments section or tweeting us saying like, what are you talking about the odds on Magomed Ankalaev versus Paul Craig being minus 400 plus 300.
Already 500 in the time it took you to deliver that sentence.
Basically, we made these boards while these lines were getting released, so like we know how these things happen. Like everything is very, very, it's a roller coaster, right? So
they just haven't had time to mature, so people are pounding them early. They're switching some lines. Verdum's line, it's not going to move.
Yeah,
it's
the main card,
Dawodu's
the top
line
four
is going
fights
to
are
move.
going to stay kind of stagnant.
Yeah.
Some of these other ones are going to move, and they should move. But good thing about it, DraftKings prices, DraftKings released this early, which adds another little type of dynamic to like playing games this week on DraftKings. Some decisions to be made. Are you going to play this guy? Are you going to use the leverage play? But we'll get to that eventually. Let's start in the main event. We have Fabricio Cavallo Werdum taking on Alexander Volkov. Werdum is 8,600 on DraftKings, minus 200 on the betting line. Volkov is 7,600 on DraftKings, plus 170. I like Werdum here.
Yeah.
I think the value's good. I made a move last night, minus 188, threw 3 units on it. I really actually like it. I think Werdum is that top 5 guy. He may not be able to beat Stipe again. I know he's getting older, but like he just took on Tybura. Tybura, I consider kind of on the level of Volkov. I'm not all that impressed by what Volkov has done. I'm a little bit jaded based on what Volkov was back in Bellator. Sometimes that gets to me. Ergo, who's the guy? The guy that DC just beat. Uzdemir, because that happened
lost
to me
to Kelly and Nunz.
Yeah, and then when they come over to here, these things happen, right? But the way I look at it, Volkov's 6'7". He's super tall. He's super big. He may have a boxing advantage here, but Werdum is no slouch on the feet. His Muay Thai is super, super crisp. He understands, how to manage distance. He doesn't try to, as long as he doesn't like run into a punch like he did against Stipe, do something stupid. He does like coming out immediately and doing like that stupid like jump kick and stuff like that.
Sometimes.
I don't know if he should be trying that against someone who's like 6'7". But all of these things, like if Werdum gets it to the ground, I know he doesn't have the best wrestling, but when he's like 6'3", the other guy's 6'7", doesn't really have the best takedown defense. Werdum gets this thing to the mat. It is night, game over, wrap it up.
Yeah.
8,600 on DraftKings. As I said, minus 188. I'm all about the go horse this week. What's your take?
Yeah, I'm going to agree that I like Fabricio Werdum, but I do have some issues with him. First of all, the guy's obviously a very smart fighter, but his ring IQ could be perhaps even just the slightest bit questionable. Now you say, you're not going to running jump kick a guy that's 6'7". Buddy's stat is the last time he did that against Travis Brown, who is 6'7". But he gets into these lulls sometimes, Paul, where he's not really pulling the trigger on you. And what I mean by that is, when you look at the Stipe fight, back to ring IQ, the Stipe fight, he literally bum rushes Stipe. Stipe's backpedaling. He's got both hands down, and he just eats a counter shot, full to the mat. I think you could classify that one into the questionable ring IQ. But it's actually the 2 fights after that, which he fights Travis Brown in a fight that, remember the first time he fought Travis Brown? He dusts this guy. For 5 rounds, he's all over him, he's smoking him. The second time around, he's tentative. He's not really going for it. He's kind of waiting in these periods that there's a little bit of inactivity that could potentially cost him. Doesn't cost him in that fight. It's considered a somewhat close fight.
He probably does know that he's not able to take the damage that he was before.
Right, so now the Alistair Overeem fight, subsequently, he does the same thing. He doesn't get off into the 3rd round, and in the 3rd round, he hurts Alistair Overeem. It's almost a case of, dude, why didn't you just get going a little bit sooner? Now, he's still a world-class guy. I agree, he's definitely a top 5 fighter. He definitely should be the favorite in this situation. But there's no denying that he's 40 years old. He's coming off, when he wins, and it's huge over Walt Harris, not on this level. And the Tybura fight, that's the reason why I'm going to go with Werdum here, because you're only as good as your last fight. In his last fight against Marcin Tybura, he goes 5 rounds.
He looked fine.
I thought he won every single round.
Opponent that he wasn't really scared of, like the power of Marcin Tybura. I don't think Volkov has like real crippling knockout power myself.
No, but the key to the key to beating Volkov, it's simple, and it's kind of always been the same, is that you got to grind this guy up against the cage and you got to take him down. Now, I've made some decent money all 3 times that I've watched him lose, but all 3 times he's been fighting against grapplers. Vitaly Minakov, guy's one of the best in the world. Let's throw that one out the window a long time ago. It's the fight against Chait Congo and against Timothy Johnson Jr., where these guys just take him down and grind him. He's 6'7", he's lanky, and he's not the biggest heavyweight. I mean, you're talking about a guy that at 6'7", when you clock in around 240 against guys that are going to clock in around 250, 260.
He won the fight against Johnson, too.
That's Timothy Johnson. I'm talking about...
sorry.
Yeah, I'm talking about back in Bellator.
My bad.
Now, when he fought Timothy Johnson in the UFC, I'm thinking, oh, dude, path to victory is right there for old TJ. Take him down, grind him up against the fence. But Timothy Johnson decides to box. And I have no idea why, but he literally stands at range with this guy who's ranger than you and a better striker than you. You don't want to be a wrestler trying to outstrike a Kyokushin karate stylist. And that's what happens. And still, in that situation, he won. He won a split decision over Timothy Johnson. So if you want to stand with him like Stefan Struve, he can chew you up. There'll be moments where you can hit him back. He's got a pretty good chin all around, but he's a decent striker. It's pinning him up against the cage and not giving him any space to deal with. Like you said, if Werdum takes this guy down, he's done. And I agree with that. I just need Fabricio Werdum to physically commit to taking him down. And even if he doesn't, well, there's a possibility that Fabricio Werdum could just outstrike him. He is a good striker, as you talked about. King's MMA background, good Muay Thai. He just went 5 rounds with Tybura in his last fight, so gas tank shouldn't be an issue. But the worry is always going to be there that you've got 40-year-old guy who sometimes comes up a little bit gun-shy, taking on a guy in Volkov that likes to put out that punch output. Not a big, heavy power puncher, one punch per se, but the volume that he can put on guys. And against a 40-year-old Werdum...
These wins that we're talking about with Volkov, putting that pressure on, it's like, come on, we just saw Struve just completely...
Get out-grappled by Arlovsky.
Lay an egg in his last performance.
No, I hear you, and I'm going for Fabricio Werdum as well. Those are kind of the only concerns I may have with it. Minus 200, really not that bad. Minus 188, would you hit it for? Better, obviously. I think we're on the same
lines,
page,
Cody. I'm just kidding. I obviously don't. It did move 2 points after I made the bet.
Oh yeah. Once I bet Hakeem Dawodu, it moved 10 points.
Maybe Pinnacle.
I think that was bad.
Maybe Pinnacle really respects my action. Anyway, let's move on down the card. We got Jimmy, the poster boy Manuwa, taking on Jan Blachowicz. Manuwa 9,000 on DraftKings, minus 200 on the betting line. Blachowicz is 7,200 on DraftKings, a plus 170. Who do you like here?
Jimmy Manuwa possibly could have been one of those top 5 guys that are actually in contention for the UFC title. It's just I really think that like time's not on his side. He made his UFC debut. He was actually 32 years old when he beat Kyle Kingsbury. People don't realize that because when he was in the UC MMA circuit back in England and he's dusting guys, he was already in his late 20s. He signs with the UFC. That was 6 years ago. And since then, remember when he fought Gustafsson? It's like, dude, I just need to jump up and take a risk because I'm getting older. I need to take a risk. Gets knocked out. Okay, fair enough. I gotta jump up against Anthony Johnson, and I just gotta take that risk. Gets knocked out.
He always gets to that little break that he's almost in the top 5, or he's considered a top 5, a real guy, but he always falters in that top position. This is not a fight that is one of those spots.
No, but I feel like he always feels the necessity to just, the opportunity presents itself, just take it, right? Yeah. Even though I'm not prepared to fight Alexander Gustafsson, even though I'm not prepared to fight Anthony Johnson, and these fights are coming on relatively short notice for him, he takes them because he really doesn't have any choice.
Because he knows that this opportunity may not be here 3 years from now.
Yeah, and if I want a shot at the title and I got to beat 3 guys, or I could fight one of these guys and beat one of these guys and get that shot, I'm going to take that shot. Now he's 38 years old. Chin's probably got to be looked at as an issue. Been knocked out in his 3 losses. Also, the Volkan Oezdemir fight, it's like a short shot from the pocket, rocks him. He's hurt. What he's getting here in Jan Blachowicz, though, thankfully for him, is not a power puncher. No. The times that he's rocking guys, when he took out Ilir Latifi, when he took out Devin Clark, he's rocking them with a body kick, right? And that's one of those things that you can't bank on someone coming into a fight and getting his opponent with a body kick, right? So if he's going to beat Jimmy Manuwa, he's really got to put that pressure on him. The thing is, this is a rematch. And the last fight with Manuwa was terrible. It was so boring. And literally nothing happened. And even though Jimmy won the fight, he didn't look good at all. Now you're getting Jimmy, who's years removed from that, who we know he can't take that shot, getting older.
Blachowicz looks like he may be turning a corner. The guy's never going to be a power puncher. His hands aren't
he's a serviceable
the best, but he's got a grind. He will put a grind on you.
Yeah.
And in a card that it may be hard to find underdogs along the way, and there's some underdogs lower down, this is a guy that I think has a shot. I don't think I'm going to be betting it. I'm considering 7,200 on DraftKings as a low flyer. It may not be a high scoring type of thing. The one good thing about Blachowicz is that he is insanely difficult to knock out. The guy's got a cast iron chin.
Almost impossible. I think he's been finished one time. He's been knocked out once in his career, and it's against Sokoudjou.
Yeah.
Leg kicks, right? He got decimated with leg kicks. Rematch with Sokoudjou, learns to take leg kicks, obviously trains that, beats Sokoudjou in the rematch. And since then, yeah, you're right. If you're going to beat this guy, you better get ready to beat him for the course of 15 minutes because the guy is supremely durable.
He looks tired sometimes, but like he just kind of continues to lumber at the same pace.
Yeah, and with Jimmy Manuwa traditionally and throughout the entire of his career is that he's a front runner, man. He goes out there and he blows guys out really quick in the first round. Problem is now that he's gotten to the elite level, it's kill or be killed, and these guys are a little bit better than him. The fact is that he's getting this rematch. He's going to have a sense of comfortability against Blachowicz, knowing that he's beaten him before. But you can't just go out there and front run and blow this guy out. So you have to pace yourself. If you pace yourself, you know he's going to pace himself because, like you said, he takes his time, he plods forward, he gets to you. I look at the fact that it's 2-1 on Jimmy Manuwa on the straight money line, and I don't really like that. If it was less, I would take the smallest of plays on him because I do feel like he can get the victory. But it's at 7,200 on DK for Blachowicz. I mean, come on, 9,000 on Jimmy Manuwa, overpriced right off the get-go. You need him to get a finish or decimate this guy. Don't see it happening.
Yeah,
but the 72 for Jan, man, he's got a possibility that he could land something on what is considered a chinny opponent, or he can just give him that grind and win a decision over the course of 3. He's got to go to his opponent's backyard to get it done, but the possibility is certainly there. I don't think that's the worst punt play in the world, especially because you're going to need one of these $7,200 to $7,400 guys if you want to fit all the heavy hitters into your lineup, and I do feel like Jan Blachowicz, not the worst play in the world. On the straight money line, I'm kind of leaning towards a pass, but my heart tells me Jimmy Manuwa was going to win another stinker, kind of like he did the last time.
We're in England, too. You got to remember that.
And English judges are used to giving...
English judges are real.
Yeah. They really go with this
They bring out the
cooking.
bangers and mash every single time. That's for damn sure.
Fish and chips wrapped in newspaper. That's the tradition over there.
Manuwa doesn't really seem... He just doesn't seem like a guy who could really pay off his price tag. He's going to have to knock out a guy who we just said is cast iron chin. Hey, it could happen.
Manuwa just got knocked out. I didn't see
Manuwa hits really, really hard, but preferred play here on DraftKings is Blachowicz. Let's move on down. We got Tom Duquesnoy taking on Terrion Ware. Duquesnoy is 9,300 on DraftKings, minus 280 on the betting line. Ware is 6,900 plus 240. Who do you like? I shouldn't even ask who you like. I'm sure you like Tom Duquesnoy.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I do like Tom Duquesnoy.
But maybe not at that price.
No, I mean, I think we were both on Cody Saftic when Duquesnoy fought him. And to be honest, I mean, this is a young kid and a highly touted prospect who comes from a striking background who was just waiting to get exploited by a guy.
For the record, I was not.
Oh, you were on Duquesnoy?
I was wrong.
Hey, I had Cody Saftic regardless of if I only took him because we have this. No,
Sharp
I couldn't.
Call.
Well, yeah, sure. But I mean, I think the fact is that a lot of the time we, as MMA fans, buy into these highly touted young prospects like they're going to be the next big thing. What you got to realize is they could. Duquesnoy could be awesome. Sage Northcutt could be awesome. Jake Matthews could be awesome. It's just they need to go through those trials and tribulations and lose a couple fights and realize what we got to change up. The fact is that this kid left France, which MMA is illegal in France, leaves France, goes to Jackson Wink, and that's not something that's going to pay off right away. It's something that's going to pay off if you put the time in.
5 years down the line.
5 years down the line. He's young. He's got his entire life ahead of him, and there's no doubt that he's going to be good, but they got to match him up properly. Matching him up against, a tough, hard-nosed wrestler like Cody Saftic is just a bad idea. Now,
I don't think they knew what they had in Stamen at that point in time.
But if you're just looking at it for what it is, and that's a stylistical bet clash, you knew Stamen was going to try to take this guy down, and you knew Duquesnoy was going to try to elbow him in the face from a standing position.
Competitive with Duquesnoy on the feet as well, though.
Yeah, and that's what leads you to believe that maybe Tom is still learning. And coming from that Muay Thai base, guys that are boxers, they're a little crisper with their punches, right?
And when you're scared of the takedown, it affects what you do on the feet as well.
Of course, but look at Charles Oliveira as a random example. I know these guys have very little in common, but just look at Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira's actually got some pretty decent Muay Thai. The thing is, he stands right up in the air. He loves to throw knees. He loves to throw elbows. His punches aren't exactly crisp. One of my favorite Muay Thai fighters of all time, turned glory kickboxer, Simon Marcus, Canadian guy, local from Toronto. I love Simon Marcus, Siam #1 guy. And what all these guys from Siam #1 have in common is they're tremendous in the clinch, tremendous. Great knees, great elbows, terrible boxing. When they lose, they get outboxed, they get clipped, they have defensive deficiencies in their guard, and they get hit a lot. And I'm not saying that that's Duquesnoy's problem. I'm saying similar to these guys is that you can beat him standing or you can just take him to the ground. Now, matching him up against Terrion Ware is better for him because Terrion Ware is kind of more of a boxer. He's a short guy. He should be able to have a good stand-up battle with him. But this guy's no slouch. He's definitely not plus 240.
Gave O'Malley a tough go.
The guy's tough.
Beat him in round 2. Round 3, O'Malley showed kind of that he had heart and we've seen the heart from him in his most recent performance as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And if he gives Tom a tough round 2 like that, does Tom have the same, dig down deep and pull out the W?
Yeah, also...
I'm not sure, because against Stamen, it looked like Duquesnoy kind of folded a little bit. I don't like Ware in this spot. This is like a pass for me. I don't really want to pay up for Duquesnoy at 9,300 either all that much, because this could go 3 rounds. Ware's not a schlub. Ware's super
durable
tough
guy.
and durable.
He's fought better opposition in his career. I mean, he himself made his UFC debut on short notice at 145 pounds, up a weight class, against Cody Saftic, and he gave him a much better fight than Duquesnoy gave him. The guy, they're under the same management company. He trains with a lot of good guys, and I just feel like Terrion Ware is one of these guys, pro boxing record as well. Look at his knockout win over Jared Papazian, UFC vet. I know people might be laughing at home. Jared Papazian, what are you bringing him up for? But Terrion Ware is not bad, dude. He's serviceable. And so this is a spot that when he fought Stamen, I knew Stamen would take him to the ground, and that's why I'm confident taking the dog play on Stamen, right? I didn't expect him to go out there and beat him standing and take him to the ground. Now with Terrion Ware, I'd love to make another dog play and fade Duquesnoy again, but this is going to be a better matchup for him, being that I'm going to be able to strike with this guy instead of just being worried about getting dumped on the ground.
And we always talk about young guys, just like the improvements that he made after taking that
what a
L
learning experience
in his
that
last
was.
fight.
Oh, for sure.
I imagine he's going to be a lot better.
For sure.
So you're kind of blindly... I don't think you can completely fade Duquesnoy on DraftKings.
But 9,300
you want
is
him a little bit.
price
I just have
tag.
no idea what type of ownership he'll have this week, because I think people are apt to kind of fade him, but he does have a chance to go out there and wow us. We saw it on the regional scene as this guy was coming up. He had stunning knockouts, stunning performances all the way through.
Against mid-level European competition.
Sure.
But I think if you're going to pay up for him, you have the chance that he could get a finish. And I don't think he finished Terrion Ware myself, but if he gets a finish, great. Then he'll be able to merit that price tag. But the guy throws lots of strikes, man. I mean, to use a stolen term, I'm sure, the guy's hell on wheels. Like, he'll move forward and he'll bomb you. He tries to get in the clinch. He'll try to elbow you. He'll try to knee you. At range, he's really not that bad because he's kind of a long kid. He'll rack up points. It's just I don't really see that $9,300 price tag being worth it for him. And I was on the money line. I mean, he's a near 3-1 favorite. I'm just not really seeing it. The thing with Terrion Ware that was disappointing is that him versus Sean O'Malley, he loses the first round. He sticks with it in the second round and he wins the second round. Now you got a guy that looks tired. He's a young kid. He's only 22 years old. You just won the second round. You just got to turn up what you're doing.
All the momentum is on your side.
All the momentum's on your side, and you give it right back, and you allow this kid to work his way back into the fight, and then furthermore,
that could be less about Terrion Ware and more about O'Malley, though.
It could be, and only time will tell about how good Sean O'Malley really will be. I mean, I think that remains to be seen. But that was a huge test for Sean O'Malley in that, what am I going to do in this third round? And he came back. And with Duquesnoy, he's going to have to show that same thing. We haven't seen that from him in his fights yet.
Yeah,
but we've only had he blasts you, or he pitches. He folds up for the night. He's done in. But I think that grind of having somebody on you break your spirit, like Michael Johnson's no quitter. But when Michael Johnson has somebody on him, like an Elkins or a Khabib, it's understandably so that he's being broken down. Was Duquesnoy getting broken down because he's in compromised situations? He knows best case he gets back up, he gets taken back down. Or if he's in a straight striking match, if his nose is broken and he's bleeding into his mouth and he's huffing and puffing and he's tired, does he quit on himself then? We don't know. It remains to be seen. But I don't like paying 3-1 on a guy that is still unproven. And for that reason, as much as I do like Tom Duquesnoy and I love his fighting style, I kind of got to avoid this. It's almost disrespectful to Terrion Ware to give him that kind of line. And whereas people might be saying, well, then it sounds like you want to play Terrion Ware. Maybe a little bit. But I'm not. This is more of just a pass, to be honest.
Leon Edwards, 8,800, minus 210 on the betting line. Peter Sobotta, 7,400 plus 175. I want you to do me a favor here. Click on Peter Sobotta. I know that you have Tapology up there. Click on Peter Sobotta, and let's go through his opponents.
Wow, he fights once a year, Paul.
Well, let's go through his opponents, who he's won, who he's beaten. I know who they are. I just have a general plan here.
Okay, fair. You want to start from when? Because he's been fighting in the UFC
do
since
his last
2010.
4 fights. 4 fights.
Okay, fourth fight. Stephen Kennedy chokes him out in the first round. Cut. Okay. Kyle Noak knocks him out in the first round.
He got kicked to the body and folded.
He got toe stabbed, dude. What a deadly move. I would have shit my pants right in the ring. Okay, fair enough. Nicholas Dalby, who Fair, cut, and Ben Saunders, who I'm sure is on his way to being cut.
Who was basically cut and then kind of came back for that last fight, got knocked out, probably has one more fight, and then will get cut. Nobody that he has, besides Saunders, because I guess he kind of just came back type of thing. Nobody that he's ever beaten actually still has a job inside the organization.
Fair. Let me counter with this, right? Peter Sobotta is more known for his black belt. The guy's really good on the black. He's a Planet Eater black belt out of Germany. The guy, I believe he's under a Dean Lister affiliate. He's good at jiu-jitsu. Now he's improving his striking game to where he just kicks a lot. He just throws a lot of kicks. Because what are you going to do? Take him down? He's okay with that. Take him down. Now, if you look at his list of opponents, guys do not take him down. They don't want to take him down. Meanwhile, with Leon Edwards, as decent of a striker as we believe him to be...
He's a much better striker. He's a striker who became a grappler.
Right. His fight with Brian Barberena, he just relies heavily on the takedowns. He gets outstruck pretty bad in that fight. But the takedowns are there to bail him out. Vicente Luque, the takedowns.
No, I think Leon Edwards was winning against Brian Barberena on the feet.
Do you?
I think he was, and he started going for these takedowns stupidly. The problem with Leon Edwards, I've already made a play on him, so you're not going to sell me on the other side at this point.
I just want to tell you that you're outstriking.
The problem with Leon Edwards is that he just makes like the most boneheaded decisions ever. I still took the chance on him because I think he should be smart enough that, hey, I shouldn't take down this guy because that's the one spot that he probably can hurt me.
So then how good's his striking then? We don't know because he's always taking guys down. Listen, Brian Barberena versus Leon Edwards, okay? The fight goes 15 minutes. Leon Edwards lands 23 significant strikes.
Because he decided to go for takedowns all the time.
And do nothing with them.
Because he likes to try to prove that, like, oh, I'm a complete martial artist, which I hate. But I think he's going to be smart enough here not to go back to these stupid things. He's a much better striker. You can see
how do you know he's a much better striker?
Because you can just see how...
Tell me one example where you've been wowed with Leon Edwards' striking.
His debut against... Who was his debut?
Oh, his debut. You mean the one against Seth Baczynski? No, he lost his debut against Claudio da Silva, who took him down and grinded him. And then he beat Seth Baczynski. Oh,
knocked him.
Everybody knocks out Seth Baczynski. Okay.
He has a W over Vicente Luque. Won that fight.
Had to take him down and grind him. And Albert Tumanov, that's his biggest win. Trust me, I'm huge on Tumanov.
Look at all the guys he's beating.
Yeah, but
all these guys would crush Peter Sobotta.
Yeah, but those guys are strikers, Paul, which he realizes.
I think he's got a massive striking advantage. I want him to keep it on the feet.
He very well may have the striking advantage. And that's why I'm saying it's going to be a little bit of a question because his last number of fights, he relies specifically on getting the takedown to beat these guys. And with Sobotta, I'm not saying if the fight hits the ground, Sobotta's so good in the ground that he's going to dice him. Leon Edwards, no.
He may just lie on his back and not be able to do anything.
Leon Edwards very may well just take him down and grind him. Who knows? But I'm saying is that his normal path to victory, just take guys down, might not be the greatest chance to do that. Peter Sobotta never got taken down against Ben Saunders. He never got taken down against Dalby. Obviously didn't get taken down against Noak, but he folded to the ground after that body kick, toe stab, deadly. And when he beat Stephen Kennedy, as bad as Stephen Kennedy is, Stephen Kennedy's also a black belt, and he diced him in like 2 minutes. The guy is good on the ground. So I like Leon Edwards, don't get me wrong. But Leon Edwards is not some super prospect that everybody should be high on. He's kind of a vulnerable guy.
I think he's pretty underrated. I think he returns
considering he has some big wins.
His stand-up game in this fight. And we see that he's actually a striker who just decided to wrestle. Usually we see wrestlers that start picking up the striking, the overhand right. It's classic with like the wrestler, right? But like he's the exact opposite of that. I want him in this fight to get away from that. If he starts taking down Peter Sobotta, I'm gonna go like, eee.
What happens? Serious question. What happens if Peter Sobotta takes him down? Because he's lost both of his UFC fights by getting taken down and grinded.
Does Sobotta have all that much wrestling? Though?
No, he doesn't.
I haven't seen anything from his wrestling. I think
he doesn't. But you're going to try to grapple with this guy. Presumably, that's been your game plan. You're going to try to grapple. With him.
Let's strike, Cody. By the way, I don't actually like Leon Edwards as a DraftKings play. I think this fight very, very likely goes to decision.
Right.
But I do like Leon Edwards to win the decision in England against a German. 29-28, probably 30-27. I think he wins every round pretty clearly.
Fair. I'm going to agree with you. And to be honest, I got Leon Edwards. Only one thing. And I know this is going to become a theme here is that these lines are terrible, dude. I don't want to pay $210 for Leon Edwards.
I don't want to pay -193 last night. That was
it's just you'll notice this as we go through. Not this next fight. I like the odds in the next fight. But like Jimmy's just too big of a favorite. Duquesnoy is definitely too big of a favorite. Fabricio, that one I understand. I'll take Fabricio there.
You got to think about it mathematically, though. So, like, minus 200, that's like a 70% chance. Do you think Werdum wins 7 out of 10?
Werdum, I'm okay with. The thing with Leon Edwards is I think that there's
uncertainty. Do you think he wins 7 out of 10 against Sobotta?
Well, it's hard to tell because there's just, like I said, I haven't seen him on his back again in a while.
I think he wins at least. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
We're looking for a fluke submission.
A fluke submission?
From a guy who I think, we talk about guys, oh, he's got a black belt. We don't see very much from Peter Sobotta. I think he's overrated.
You know what?
Look at Dolby.
And
his
look at Dolby.
His return to form
Dolby was
is all just against guys that have already been cut from the organization.
Yeah, I'm fair, but look at the Dolby fight, right? He's the underdog against Nicholas Dolby. Nicholas Dolby's 14-1-1. He's got the draw against Darren Till. Yo, this guy's super durable. He's good on the ground. Man, they genuinely like Nicholas Dolby. He fights Peter Sobotta, and it's a case of Peter Sobotta's way better on the ground.
Yep.
So he's gonna get takedowns, or when he gets the takedowns, he's gonna out-grapple you on the ground. Leon Edwards is a good grappler, man. Don't get me wrong. He's hard to take down. He seems like even when he gets tired, he finds that second gear. He catches his second win very quickly. He goes for it. His striking, I haven't seen enough of his striking to label him as an elite level striker. So like you say, oh, well, I hope he just keeps it standing and just outstrikes him. Well, we just really haven't seen enough for him to justify that that's exactly what he's
going to do. Please, Leon, do it for me. Do it for me. That's essentially what I'm at. I think he's... From the tape and stuff that I've watched, I just think he has a big advantage there.
He's way faster.
The one risk that you take is that this guy just makes these boneheaded decisions. He may even be able to win from top control, like taking him down. But like, I'm gonna be sweating. I'm gonna be sweating if that's his game plan, because I think his easiest path to victory: keep it on the feet, win a decision in your hometown. British fans love, or British judges love giving scorecards for their hometown.
You know what? I agree with you there. I don't love the price, but I think I'm gonna lean ever so slightly towards Leon Edwards. I recognize the danger in a guy like Peter Sobotta that even though he doesn't have the big name, even though it's not the sexiest play, the guy's got a chance.
John Phillips is 8,900 on DraftKings, minus 120 on the betting line. Charles Byrd, 7,300 on DraftKings, minus 110 on the betting line. So essentially what happened here is DraftKings, good on them. They're waiting on all these scared books they usually try to keep their prices relatively in order of what you see on the betting line so that you don't get guys like Charles Byrd, who's 7,300 and a minus 110. So that already, right off the top from a DraftKings strategy, cash games, Charles Byrd is basically a lock, unless you have something to say to the contrary here from me.
Well, nothing's a lock with John Phillips. I mean, he just throws such heavies.
That's me on DraftKings cash games.
Such heavies. Yeah.
If you were to make a DraftKings cash game, is Byrd not on your lineup?
Well, cash, I like him more of as a GPP play personally. But yeah, if
you're gonna have to own him at like 70, or at least he'll be over 50% owned.
Yeah.
Because of the odds to his price. Like, he jumps off the page, 89. He's 7,300. He should be like a plus 200 underdog at those.
Yeah, fair enough.
At that price to what his odds should be.
Well, I'm thinking if you're DK and you don't have the physical betting line out.
Yeah, I don't blame them for not
you're
knowing
looking at the fact that John Phillips has like 18 knockout wins. It's like, oh, well, speaking by the numbers, this guy knocks out a lot of people. He's taking a guy in Charles Byrd, despite the fact that he's won his last 2 fights by submission. Traditionally, he comes from a Muay Thai background. You want to be a K1 level kickboxer when you first got training into the sport. Striker versus striker, one guy's got hellacious power. Okay, good chance for a finish. But yeah, no, I gotta say Byrd either beats him striking or gets him down and submits him. Here's a funny story about John Phillips, the White Mike Tyson. Actually, kind of a funny name, obviously, but kind
of. Is this a greasy theory?
No.
No? Okay. Do you have any greasy theories today?
Kind of. Well,
okay.
I could.
We'll wait on it.
You know what? I'm just gonna draw one up right now.
All right.
John the White Mike Tyson Phillips, okay, versus Charles Kid Dynamite Byrd. Kid Dynamite was Mike Tyson's original nickname. And then he switched to Iron Mike Tyson, obviously. No, see, I go back with John Phillips to 2011. I remember the exact night. He fights at Bama, I think Bama 5. Worked there for the Fight Network, and he's fighting Frank Trigg. Huge Frank Trigg guy. Watch the fight on YouTube. It is fucking hilarious. He walks to the ring, okay? Mark Goddard goes. He's the referee in charge. Before he steps into the cage, Mark Goddard's explaining to him, do you have your cup on? Yeah, got my cup on. Mark Goddard points to this guy holding a jar of Vaseline and says, get the Vaseline. John Phillips says, no, I don't want no Vaseline. Doesn't want any Vaseline. Goes in. Frank Trigg, easily, takes him down. Smashes him in the face with 3 elbows. All 3 elbows open 3 separate cuts on John Phillips' face because he has no Vaseline on.
And they stop, bleeding all over the place.
They stopped the fight based on cuts. They got it as like TKO due to injury. I've never laughed so hard in my life. I show the clip to friends all the time. He's like, no Vaseline. This is why you have Vaseline on. Anyways, he loses this fight. And he was such a big power puncher at the time. The thought process with him versus Trigg is maybe Trigg's a little over the hill, but like Trigg, at the very least, good wrestler, good ground and pound, takes him down, smokes him. After that, he fought Pavel Kush. He gets taken down, he gets leg locked in 25 seconds. After that, he fought Jesse Taylor. Jesse Taylor takes him down, submits him in a minute 23 or something. Do you see what's going on here? This guy can stand and bang. The second he's on the ground, he's not getting up. Not only is he not getting up, he's likely getting submitted. So he takes a little bit of time off. He starts fighting about once a year. The guys he's beating, they're standing right in front of him. He does got huge power, don't get me wrong. Yeah. He hits them, they fold over. He decides to move to SPG Ireland. He goes to SPG Ireland. The first time he goes there for training camp, he's flat broke, and he stays in an Airbnb for like the whole duration of the camp. Loses lots of money on it. So then actually, cool little article on it, he returns to SPG Ireland and gets a motorhome. Realizes real quick, I'm way too big for a motorhome. I'm a middleweight, can't do it. So now he's got like an actual trailer. In the actual trailer, he stays at John Kavanagh's driveway and goes to the gym and trains there. As much as it might sound
he's
good,
basically like he's Welsh, isn't he? Welsh.
Yeah.
He's like basically Welsh Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
Well,
living out of his trailer.
Well, Donald Cerrone's got some money. Donald Cerrone, he got this. It's not a trailer, Paul.
It's
RV. Okay,
true.
There's a big difference. And where I think for a lot of people, they'd be like, dude, talk about dedication. The guy's living in a motorhome, John Kavanagh's driveway, grinding hard at SPG. I just feel like at 32 years old, he's one of those guys that's set in his ways. He goes out there, he tries to knock your head off clean.
He's training at a gym that historically, if you take them down and grind them out, that's the path to victory to everybody not named Gunnar Nelson. Trains out of that gym for the most part.
Yeah, I also think you got to notice that if you look back to, he beats Jesse Taylor, right? Or sorry, he loses to Jesse Taylor, obviously. Taylor takes him down, chokes him out. Very little resistance. His very next fight, this is interesting to me. His very next fight, he's 17-6. He takes on 0-0 Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward, Conor McGregor's bodyguard. Terrible.
Worst.
Okay. Charlie Ward takes John Phillips down and is beating him up.
Yeah.
The referee's like, yeah, I'm bored of this. Stands them up, and John Phillips knocks him out. He's got big power. He's so bad on the ground. After that, like I said, he ends up at SPG. At Bama 26, he misses weight by 13 pounds, John Phillips does, okay? Fight gets canceled. He takes a fight like 2 weeks later against this Brazilian guy, beats this Brazilian guy, and now effectively has been sitting on the sidelines for 6 months, gets this UFC call. Actually, he's supposed to fight Marcos Rogério de Lima. He gets hurt. He's supposed to fight Eric Anders. He gets hurt. Now he's taking Charles Byrd because they're in the UK and they need a local guy, and this guy's got some excitement. Like, I don't think we can get excited for John Phillips here.
Byrd's never been knocked out either.
Byrd's never been knocked out. He's been submitted. John Phillips is not submitting him. Let's get that out of the way right away. And I mean, I think if you're Byrd, you're a guy that, like I said, he want to be a K1 striker. He want to fight kickboxing. He want to get into Muay Thai. He's in Texas. Texas is a great hotbed for Muay Thai. What Texas also has is a solid high school wrestling programs. And the guy wrestled in high school. So he decided to get into MMA because he knew, man, I'm a pretty decent striker. Maybe not K1 level, but if these guys on MMA can't take me down, then I can beat them. He starts working that wrestling, starts taking guys down, and now he submits them. His arm triangle choke, also known as the head and arm choke, is awesome. He's a very strong guy. He's got that length. If he takes you down and he puts you in a compromising situation, he could submit you. And with John Phillips, it's not even a case of he's for sure going to get submitted, although it's likely. It's that he doesn't even get up. He doesn't have the means to physically get up. And who's going to train him in his grappling at SBG? Yeah, Kavanaugh's a black belt. And yeah, sure, Gunnar, who's a welterweight. This guy's sizably bigger. Yeah. And then who? Paddy Houlihan and Aisling Daly and Cathal Pendred? Like, he's one of the bigger guys there. He's probably working out with Charlie Ward. That's probably his top sparring partner.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think that's going to mimic a guy like Charles Byrd? It's not. Charles Byrd's also spent a lot of time working with good MMA level grapplers, you know? Guys that you might not give credit to, like a Damon Jackson. People are easy to shit on Damon Jackson. Guy's a pretty good grappler. He works with good guys in the Texas area, psychs on Muay Thai in Texas. I honestly think that he either beats him standing or takes him down, which is the clear path to victory here, and submits him. I think for 7,400, definitely going to play him on. Sorry, 7,300, definitely going to play him on GPPs. For a cash game, yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to play him some cash.
John Phillips in a GPP is not the worst play though, because everyone's going to own the other guy.
Yeah, but he's 80.
And his only path to victory, as we've been saying, is like first round knockout. And he's going to go out there. He's going to throw some hammers. He's going to have to knock out a guy who's never been knocked out before.
And they call him the White Mike Tyson. He can throw hammers, right?
I'm saying like because of the ownership, because of his path to victory, because of the fact that, he's super expensive for what the odds dictate. Everything is kind of leaning towards massive leverage play. If you're playing one lineup, I would go towards Charles Byrd. If you're playing 10, 15, 20, I'd throw just a couple in with John Phillips, just in the case that maybe he catches that chin.
You know what?
Gets the W.
You know what? I think it's time for a greasy theory, Paul.
What's that?
I think DK fucked up and have these reversed. because that's a punt all day on John Phillips. Oh shit, John Phillips is only 7,300. Maybe he lands that hammer. Maybe he does. Oh shit, John Phillips is 8,900. Get me out of here.
That's a nice greasy theory. Let's move on down the card. We got Danny Roberts taking on Oliver Enkamp. Danny Roberts is 8,500 on DraftKings, minus 195 on the betting line. Enkamp 7,700 plus 155. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm traditionally a big Danny Roberts guy, and obviously that's shot me in both feet at this point. You just can't even trust this guy. But this has got to be a spot where he should win, man.
Against a young kid that doesn't seem to have like concussive knockout power. The problem with Roberts is I think it's pretty safe to say now that his chin is very, very questionable at best.
Questionable against much better strikers than this. I mean,
I like Enkamp as a striker, but a point striker, and I think this is a matchup that is going to be kind of point striker versus point striker. I am leaning Roberts, but you can't trust him at 195. I think this fight probably goes to decision. I don't think it's going to be the highest scoring thing either. This fight just kind of lines up as a pass all the way around. Maybe you have a hotter take than that, but
yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm going to make that play for the 195 money line on Danny Roberts. It's not a great line by any stretch, but there's not really any good lines on here. It's that I feel like this is one of those good winnable spots for him. What I don't understand is that maybe it's a mental thing. Maybe a sports psychologist would go a long way for him. But as far as his ground skills go, dude, legit. Triangles Nate Coy with a first-round triangle choke. I think his grappling is good. When you used to watch him in the British regional scene, good grappling credentials. His striking, man, legit. Knocks out Jim Wallhead. We've seen him his fight with Bobby Nash, who literally has zero chin. He can be an exciting, good striker. He's got decent power. He's sharp. The problem is that maybe it's his chin. Maybe it's that. For me, it all came down to the Mike Perry fight, right? I know Mike Perry is tough, but not technical. Danny Roberts is technical, but maybe not tough. And toughness won the day there for him, or for Mike Perry, because Mike Perry just took whatever he had, marched forward, kind of just broke his will. And
we saw Max Griffin being able to be more technical and tough enough.
That's what you gotta do, right? You know that Mike Perry's gonna move forward on you. You gotta be able to outsmart him, right? And with Danny Roberts, it's like, dude, you're a much better kickboxer than this guy. This guy doesn't even throw kicks. He's literally only gonna throw punches at you. So keep your distance, use your footwork, pick him apart. But he kind of gets into a war with Mike Perry, and we see him folds up. He beats Bobby Nash, but again, Bobby Nash can't take a punch, and basically he's the first to land on him, and then puts him down. And then his last fight against Nordine Taleb, I mean, dude, he got froze up bad. Like, he gets knocked out. And then furthermore, like that head kick stuns him. And then furthermore, he gets hit and he's just folded up. I know he complained a lot to the referee afterwards saying he was okay. Wasn't okay. Was out. Good stoppage. So I think that he's at a crossroads in his career. He's a supremely talented guy, but do you want to be going in there against these heavy power punchers, against these guys that are good strikers that are going to drag in some deep waters and kind of make you question why you're in this situation? Who knows? But Oliver Enkamp's just not that guy. He's not very good on the ground. He comes from a karate background, and as far as he is
he throws a lot of spin and shit.
He's got no power. What has he got? No. One knockout on his record? Like he
it was a tough matchup for him coming on short notice against
no
a guy
doubt.
who's as
no
big
doubt.
as Nordine Taleb.
No doubt about it. No doubt it's a tough first fight to come in there for.
I thought he looked like there's a lot of potential there. He's like 22 years old.
Yeah.
Potential looks there. Knockout power doesn't look there. I agree. I think Roberts is the guy I'm going to be picking in like our tout master pool.
You're right.
But it doesn't really get me too excited. all the way around because this Enkamp kid could have improved quite a bit. We know that it doesn't
Yeah,
take
yeah.
all that. He lands
Fair.
a clean kick across Danny Hot Chocolate, and it's lights out. Like,
Could be. It's just I'm not sold. I think that the way to beating Roberts is to have some power and make him feel that power, make him question it. Perry's got power. Nordin Taleb, as much as he's not like a clean knockout guy, dude, he's huge. He's so big.
he's kind of became a clean knockout guy recently.
He's a great striker. And then where we used to see him use that size to lean on guys, if he wants to throw strikes at you, even if you're blocking them, they're going to do some damage. The guy's got good striking, right? With Enkamp, I just don't know that he's going to be able to get Roberts' respect. Roberts should be a little faster than him. He's more polished than him. He's a better kickboxer than him. But beyond all that, if he's thinking to himself, dude, I don't want to get hit in the head anymore, and he just takes him down, that's a great path to victory too, because you are a better grappler than him as well. I just feel like Roberts is a little bit better all around, trains at a better team, he should be more prepared, he's fighting in his own backyard of England against the Swedish kid who's got to come down. Like, it just seems like the pieces are falling in place for him. But the first thing I said when we started breaking this one down is, the guy's not trustworthy. He's just not, right? So take it with a grain of salt. But his minus 195 is better than the 210 on Edwards, the 280 on Duquesnoy, and the 200 on Manuwa. So if I got to play one of these guys, I think I'm leaning towards Danny Roberts.
We move to the middleweight division. We've got Jack Marshman taking on Bradley Scott.
Bradley.
I don't know where he used to be Brad Scott all these years, but now he's going by Bradley, whatever. We got Marshman, 9,100 on DraftKings, minus 385 on the betting line. Brad Scott, 7,100, plus 265. This should be pretty fun. Marshman likes to throw hands. This line and this price is just too much to be paying for Marshman against somebody who's, let's face it, like a pretty well-seasoned veteran in the organization. I know that Bradley Scott is coming in on short notice, but like he looks like a guy.
Notice,
he's been a guy who's been improving over the last little bit, and we've seen kind of. He's a guy that's like completely under the radar. You don't see him fight all that often, and he just he's got the most like generic name on the roster, Bradley Scott, but he's a guy that he's been improving. I don't understand this line. I think as long as Scott can go the distance, a cash game play, 7,100, he's not actually all that out of the works. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with it on that, considering Brad Scott plus 265. But as we were saying, like a lot of these lines were released just like an hour before we got on air here. So it could be completely gone. At one point when I was making the board, he was actually over a 300 underdog. And I was just like, all right, I don't have the opening line. I don't have the book that has the opening line. So I was just hoping that it would come to me.
Man, it's so funny you mentioned that. I actually looked at it this morning. I wonder if it's still there. Okay, this morning, this Inner Tops was the only one that had the line on. Like 5 dimes didn't have it. Bodog didn't have it.
I think that was a fake line, though.
It must have been. They had it reversed. They had like Bradley Scott as a 3-1 favorite. I was like, what? Because
that was like an inputting error on that one book or something.
And it's weird that they're the only one. That's the problem with this card, right? With Nick Kalika's out, who's an OG of setting these lines, setting them early, and getting them down pat, right?
Now nobody wants to do it, especially for a card like this that they're like, what is a Narimani?
Well, dude, bookmaker and Sportsbook and Will Hill.
Nobody wants to make lines on these anymore.
All these other lines, Sports International, they all used to wait for 5 dimes to release their lines and then take them and maybe
now 5 dimes is waiting for one of them to start making the lines, and everyone's like, not me.
Exactly. And as a result, it's just like I feel like the guys that, let's say they just ask me, just a random example, or they talk to any handicapper, and they says, okay, who do you like? Well, I'm leaning towards Jimmy Manuwa, and I'm leaning towards Duquesnoy, and I'm leaning towards Leon Edwards. And
leaning towards Marshman.
Yeah, and Danny Roberts. It's just like, okay, 2-1, 2-1, 3-1. It's like, whoa. Leaning towards, or it just doesn't justify the price tag. Can Marshman go out and outbox Bradley Scott? Quite possibly. He's got better hands. He's got great power. He's a guy that, unlike John Phillips, both of them actually reminded me of each other. Welsh guys, boxers. But Marshman, guy that used to box in the Army, he came out and he was very similar to John Phillips, is that he was pretty much just a boxer, and if you took him down, you'd sub him. But he started working on that. He started getting better. And now as a result, he's not bad on the ground. Problem is that when he's getting taken down by Antonio Carlos Jr., he's got no shot in hell. But you give him a guy like, this was actually supposed to be Elizu Zaleski dos Santos.
Yeah.
Dude, that would have been fight of the night. But now you're getting Brad Scott. It's a bit of a different dynamic, but give him strikers, and you should be able to outstrike them. It's the price tag for 385 I don't like. Brad Scott is one of these guys that I've never given his dues, and the guy is serviceable, man. He's always a little more impressive than we think. He's always a little bit better than we give him credit for or think that he's going to come out in his fights. Only 26 years old. He's one of these guys that we're laughing at him when
he's been around for a long time.
Dude, he's been fighting in the UFC since 2012, right? I mean, 4 years in the UFC. He was fighting Robert Whittaker.
6 years.
Sorry, yeah. 2012 to now, 6 years, okay? So when he fought Robert Whittaker, it was the finale of Tough Smashes, okay? In 2012. Whittaker goes up to become a UFC champion who's one of the best, okay? This kid's 23 years old at the time. Now, Whittaker was only 21 years old at the time, but he's not Robert Whittaker. What I'm saying is that he's one of these guys that's kind of learned under the bright lights. He's learned in the UFC. He's fought some okay guys. He's done relatively okay. I was actually most impressed with him in his loss to Krzysztof Jotko, because Jotko comes in, he's 16-1. Jotko should eat Brad Scott up, and Brad Scott just moves forward the entire time. Loses the fight, gets outstruck while Jotko's on his back foot, but at the same time, he shows something there. He showed that like he wants it. Spent some time at the MMA lab, works on his grappling, comes out his next fight and beats Scott Askham, who's another one of these serviceable British strikers. He can beat that level of competition. Jack Marshman, that's the level that he's at. So to say that Jack Marshman's a minus 385 over Scott makes no sense. Now, I know you love greasy theories, and this one's actually yours, because you taught me this way back in the day, and it doesn't hit every time, but dude, it actually hits a decent amount of the time.
Oh, I know what we're going for here.
Scott loses to Robert Whittaker, but then he beats Michael Kuiper. Then he loses to Claudio Silva, but he beats Dylan Andrews. Then he loses to Jotko, but he beats Askham. Then he loses to Jack Hermanson. He's due, baby! He never loses 2 in a row. He literally
You can actually also kind of, on that record there, though, I don't know, it's not the Anthony Njokuani of the past, where like he had like all very, very similar opponents. Like, it seems like every other fight he's getting a very, very tough opponent.
Yeah, the other thing too.
I don't think that this is all that much of a step off of. He did really shit the bed against Hermanson, though.
But Jack Hermanson, yeah, no, you're right. And either he learns from that, or that's the level that we realize he's at.
Because he wasn't 26. I think of this guy as like a 30-year-old, 32, something like that. He's been around for a while.
Because he's been around a long time. Now, the other thing that's interesting, that's worth noting for him, is that out of the his 7 fights in the UFC, he's never fought outside of Europe, and he's never fought a non-European opponent. Sorry, Dylan Andrews and Claudio Silva, one's Brazilian, one's Australian, but he's never fought any of these American guys. Like, this is the level that he's at, this is the level he performs at, and he's 50-50 at that level. Yeah. But one last thing that's interesting is Brad Scott's taking this fight on short notice, right? And he's actually making his welterweight debut. He's coming down from 185.
Yeah, that's a big.
Now Marshman's also making his welterweight debut, Paul. He's also a middleweight.
He was so small. Like, when he went up against Thiago Santos, you're just like,
wow.
Oh, boy, you should not be fighting at this weight class.
As big as it gets at middleweight versus maybe you could drop down.
Yeah.
All the same, though, that just adds another question mark. I've got Marshman, who has to make a new weight class for the first time, who is
had some time to be doing this. Like, has Brad Scott been training in the background, getting ready to do this? Who knows?
I would think for Brad Scott, you lose against Jack Hermanson, and that makes you realize maybe I'm not the biggest middleweight. I need to get down to welterweight. When the UFC calls you on short notice, how many guys on short notice drop a weight class? No, they all go up a weight class.
Probably already preparing for it.
The guy's clearly already preparing. He's like, already
it's at home too. I don't have to fly to some other country, then try to do this weight cut.
It's at home, and the fact is he's not the worst wrestler. He could get Marshman down. If he gets Marshman down, he's got a good path here.
Yeah.
As well as if he keeps the fight standing, he could point fight him. He could use that aggression. He could back him up, or he could just allow Marshman to come in. Marshman wants to land those big bombs. And the thing with landing those big bombs is you leave yourself open.
Yep.
Marshman had Thiago Santos. We're talking about Thiago Santos. Marshman had Thiago Santos hurt, man. He had him hurt in that first round. And then a spinning wheel kick hits him in the face and knocks him out. Dude, imagine he would have beat Thiago Santos. We're not even having this conversation. He's not fighting Brad Scott here. No. The thing is that if you're a banger, sometimes you're going to have to go out there and you're going to get hit. So Brad Scott's not a concussive puncher, and that's why I think Marshman should be able to outbox him and should be able to get the win. But when you look at the odds,
pricing.
It's almost forcing you to take a small play on Brad Scott, because he's the second biggest favorite on the card. Like, this is ridiculous.
Just seems a little bit unjustified.
Yeah,
but like,
I think so.
Marshman is he's a
better striker.
He's a GPP darling, essentially.
Yeah, especially because Brad Scott got knocked out his last fight. I would agree with you.
Marshman, he's coming out, he's swinging, he's trying to get the finish. If he wins in the first round. He gets his 90 points plus like a knockdown plus whatever type of significant strikes he lands. He's getting over 100 points. That's gonna do the deed at 9,100. So it is what it is. Let's move on down the card. We got Hakeem Dawodu taking on Danny Henry. Hakeem Dawodu is a -320 favorite. Plus 240 for Henry. 9,400, most expensive guy on the card. Hakeem Dawodu. Plus, or 6,800 for Danny Henry. Now, you used to do a bunch of business, what was it, Mike Malott back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
You would set him up for Substance Cage Combat 1, right?
That's the moment I realized what was up with
Yeah, because Malott was like super, super highly touted.
He's a super good fighter, still to this day, good fighter.
He's still a very good fighter. And they went to World Series of Fighting. Was it like World Series of Fighting Edmonton or something?
Yeah, World Series of Fighting Canada in Edmonton.
Yeah, I'll let you take it away because you know kind of more about this scene and all of this. But like this is where like we kind of all became aware of Dawodu over here.
Yeah.
Like, up here in Canada.
Right, so Dawodu was actually a highly touted amateur Muay Thai fighter out of Alberta, and he crushes guys as far as Muay Thai goes. But now he's getting this shot against Mike Malott. The thing is that Mike Malott, still to this day, I think he's 5-1-1. Nobody wants to fight. He's at Alpha Male now. He moved to Sacramento full time. He's been there for a couple years. He never fights. And down in the States, why he's not fighting? More than likely injuries. Why he wasn't fighting in Canada was you couldn't find this guy someone to fight. Believe me, it took me a long time to find someone to step in with him. And when I finally did find somebody, Malott took him out in like a minute and a half. He is as touted as they come. Shout out to Mike Malott. I think that he's the real deal. He matches up with Hakeem Dawodu. And I'm hearing Hakeem Dawodu's good, but how is he going to beat Mike Malott? To me, this is the golden boy. This is the next Canadian.
Malott was going to be the next big Canadian star.
This is the next Canadian that people are going to be like, holy shit, this Mike Malott guy's for real, right? And he goes in there at Dawodu, and he takes Dawodu down. The key to beating Dawodu, because he's a Muay Thai fighter, right? He takes Dawodu down. Dawodu gets back up. When Dawodu gets back up, he fucks Mike Malott up, dude. This guy's striking is for real. He's nasty, as nasty as they come. Since then, they've tried to match him up with grapplers, and the guy's working his grappling. He's hard to take down. He had a tremendous run at the World Series of Fighting. The one thing is that it doesn't seem like he's almost in the situation that Mike Malott was once in. Nobody wants to fight this guy. Why would you want to fight him? Now, it seemed like, hey, he's the real deal. But World Series of Fighting, as World Series of Fighting often does, is let's match him up with an indestructible Russian guy that Ali Abdelaziz manages that we're trying to push forward. So he gets this guy, Marat Magomedov. The guy's 7-0. They fight to a draw. Marat tries to take Dawodu down. Dawodu probably loses the first round. Second round's close, but they give it to Marat. And in the third round, it is a 10-8 ass-kicking. Dawodu beats the brakes off him because of the 10-8, maybe loses the first 2 rounds apparently. It's a draw. He rematches him, he KOs him because the guy is dynamite. Only 26, he's getting better and better. He fights Steven Siler in his last World Series of Fighting opponent. Steven Siler obviously is a guy that's got 40 professional fights, been around for a very long time. He beats him by decision. He drops him multiple times. Literally, Siler's flopping on his back.
Siler was just like way too tough for his own good in that fight.
Yeah, and he's flopping around. He's just like, man, I got no answer for this kid. The guy's the real deal. Now, what's even more impressive is like, you're having all this success in Alberta, the confines of your own home province. You're obviously a very good striker. Your wrestling is getting better. But now the UFC finally comes calling. And it should have been done rightfully so for him. I have him as the number 2 featherweight in Canada, number 1 being Jeremy Kennedy, who I think is the number 1 featherweight, having Hakeem Dawodu, and number 3 being Gavin Tucker. But there's the argument there that Hakeem Dawodu can beat any of the featherweights in Canada, and now we're going to see what he can do at the world level. But he leaves Alberta, and now he's at SPG Ireland full time. He spent a lot of time researching camps, figured that this would be a great fit for him. Doesn't sign with them, but he travels over to Ireland, and that's where he is full time. He's learning, the nuances of the MMA game. And against Danny Henry, similar to like you just said about Steven Siler, he's just too tough for his own good. That's really the mark on him. Daniel Tamor was whipping his ass. Then Daniel Tamor got tired of whipping his ass.
Henry's going to try to get takedowns, but we're talking about a guy who was able to fend them off, get taken down, but get back up against like legit like combat sambo practitioners.
Dude, for sure. And the thing too with Danny Henry.
So what's he gonna do? He's gonna try to take him down, but like Dawodu, that's his game. He's like, you're gonna try to take me down, and
I'm gonna stuff it and beat the shit out of you.
And you can't handle my So like 9,400 DraftKings. Are you playing? Would you play them? Are you playing them? It's expensive.
You know,
you're looking for that finish.
Yeah, this one's a unique situation for me, right? Because
you never like paying up.
No, well, this is a high price tag. I mean, listen, on someone like Cyborg where you just know it's going to happen, sure. This one is a unique situation for me because when you want to pay 9,400, you've got two viable options. Is that you get that quick knockout, or you don't really want the quick knockout.
Get a sustained ass kicking.
Or you get a sustained ass kicking, or you just get takedowns galore, right? What he has here is he might drop this guy 3 times.
The knockdowns are 10 points.
Exactly. And Danny Henry's tough, man. Yeah. Daniel Tamor, who's another Muay Thai stylist out of Sweden, was giving it to him. The thing is that he's a little older. He's not David Tamor. He's his older brother, and he's not really doesn't come from that MMA base. So Danny Henry takes the beating in the first round. Second round, he's able to take him down, grind him out. Third round, he's able to get this guy completely cooked, eventually get that victory, take him out. Big win for Danny Henry. But you could see in that fight is that he's a Scottish Muay Thai specialist as well. He wants to keep the fight standing. It's that he had an opponent here that was so tired, that was a good striker, I'll take him down. When he tries to take Dawodu down and he gets brick-walled, and now he's forced to stand with him, he's either going to get knocked out, he's going to take a sustained beating, or he's going to be too tough for his own good, come off the mat a couple times. Dawodu's also one of these guys that drops you and walks away and allows you to get back up, and then goes like a Mark Hunt.
Knockdown.
Knockdown.
Knockdown. You score 3 knockdowns and a decision victory, 30 points plus, say for the significant shot, you can get over this number, no problem.
For sure.
But you got to get those knockdowns.
You know, he's so cool and calm.
And he can't be I'm not worried about Henry being able to take him down and just control him.
He's one of those guys that when you hit the canvas, it's like, yeah, I could jump on you and finish you, or I could just walk over here, and they're going to stand you back up, and then I'm going to walk over and finish you. So I think me and Hakeem's the real deal. I'm obviously sold on him. Been sold for a long. You talk to anybody who's hardcore into MMA in Canada, and they've been begging and praying to the Lord, please God, please sign Hakeem Dawodu. Oh God, please sign him. And now he's signed. So unlike Ayman Zahabi, who shit the bed and was no good, this kid needs to go out there and show them that he's the real deal, and I think he is legit, and this is almost a tailor-made opponent. It's a guy that is long, lanky, stands in front of him, will get leg kicked, will get bombed in the face, will get elbowed, will get chewed up. 9,400 is expensive, but if you're going to take him and you're going to balance it out by taking a guy like Charles Byrd or balance it out by taking that shot on Jan Blachowicz, then you can afford it, and it makes sense. Yep.
Let's move on down the card. We got Magomed Ankalaev taking on Paul the Bear Jew Craig. Ankalaev is 9,200. The Bear Jew is 7,000. Minus 400 for Ankalaev. Plus 300 Paul Craig. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very hard to go against Magomed Ankalaev.
It's hard to pick Paul Craig at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like I don't think he was really all that good to begin with.
He had so much hype in that Frankenstein fight. After he won that fight,
super fun
everyone
fight,
was just like,
good submissions.
"Oh, this guy's super tough. He's good." We learned afterwards, just like Frankenstein ain't shit.
No,
and
yeah.
He kind of became an absolute fade, and he goes on afterwards and gets finished in the first round by Tyson Pedro. Gets finished in the first round by Khalil Roundtree.
Both big power punches.
Yeah.
And now he's getting a Dagestani who's a master of sport in hand-to-hand combat and a former amateur MMA
I haven't been super impressed by the limited video I've watched of Ankalaev, though.
Paul, if you told me at
you
this
know
point,
how much I love Russian fighters and hand-to-hand combat Russian fighters. That's my jam. I'm not seeing like anything like extraordinary from this guy.
Yeah.
That means I don't want anything to do with Craig.
Well, here's my counter to that. The thing with Paul Craig, Bear Jew, is that he's not bad at grappling, but his striking's terrible, man. And his wrestling is not all that good. And he's not going to take this guy down.
No.
And he's not going to stand with him.
No.
So really, he'd have to have the Russian slip and him land on top. And even then, the guy's Dagestani.
I think this line has actually jumped up to like minus 550.
It's jumping up because I think people just are really
just fading Craig.
Yeah, but it's not even like, oh, he fought a tough guy and he made it 2.5 rounds, got knocked out. It's like the second he gets hit, he's on wobbly legs, and then he gets finished pretty soon thereafter. And Khalil Roundtree, literally the only thing he can do is knock you out in the first round.
Yeah, if he doesn't knock you out in the first 4 minutes, we see what happened to like the alphabet soup guy that he lost. I forget his like Oshaleshiak or whatever.
I hear you.
If he doesn't finish you in that first 4 minutes, he's got nothing left in the tank.
Yeah. But imagine
Luckily,
this.
he got to Paul Craig in the first 4
You
minutes.
go into a fight with Khalil Roundtree, and it's like, okay, the only thing he can do is strike. He can't wrestle, and he can't grapple, certainly. The only thing he can do is strike. But you can't take him down because your wrestling's no good. And therefore, you have to stand with him, and you can't strike with him. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't love the line because it's minus 500 at this point.
Yeah.
But Ankalaev should eat him up, man. He should eat him up big time. I would say that he's obviously a little bit green. He's only 25. He's making his UFC debut. But that shouldn't matter, man. This guy's tough. Although one thing, you want to talk about greasy theories.
Absolutely. The floor's all yours.
Yeah, Ankalaev is Dagestani, right? And then they ask him what his favorite grappling move is, and he says, I love the suplex, but I don't actually know how to do the suplex. How do you not know how to do a suplex?
If it's your favorite move.
No, if you're Dagestani.
Yeah.
I would assume that's one of those things where you go to buy, some groceries at the store and you're $2 too short and you're like, maybe I'll just slip this milk in my pocket, and then the clerk fucking suplexes you. Why? Because it's just a patented move. They don't go out there, world star hip hop throw right hands. They just go out there and throw suplexes. This guy should know how to suplex.
Permission to throw a greasy theory on your greasy theory.
Okay, let's hear this.
He just said that in the UFC bio because he plans on going across the cage and suplexing Paul Craig.
Dude, that is the best. Paul Craig's like, oh, dude, I'll just give him my back.
He doesn't know how to do a suplex.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
Oh, God, this went against me completely.
Ankalaev should get the job done. It's no disrespect to Paul Craig, but, combat sports is a cruel bitch to be in if you can't take a punch, and you just have to fade him. But again, the line seems out of place, but Ankalaev, even if there's a little bit we don't really know fully what we're getting out of him, with Paul Craig, it's yeah, we know exactly what we're getting out of him, and it's just not impressive enough to warrant a play.
Stevie Ray, 8,400, minus 175 on the betting line. Ragin' Cajun Johnson, 7,800, plus 130. Who you got?
Okay, well, shout out to Rod Wingrove, my boy. Best cut man in Canada, by the way, Paul, and a stellar dude. But sometimes it's hard to understand what he's saying because he's got Cajun Johnson's balls so deep in his mouth. I love you, Rod. You're a good guy. I don't see Cajun Johnson getting the win here. Yeah, Stevie Ray's coming in on short notice, but I just feel like stylistically speaking, Johnson's probably a little bit better than I give him credit for in that he's been around the game since 2002. He started off his career 6-8 just because he was learning on the job.
He's skilled. He's experienced.
No, that's exactly it, dude. He's a black belt on the ground.
Trained with a bunch of great guys. He's picked up some skills.
He lived
I
in
just
that
don't think
TriStar
he's
dorm.
ever got that that top level.
Well,
him and Ray was at the TriStar as well, though.
Yeah,
These guys probably know each other pretty well.
They do, and that actually leads me to favor Stevie Ray even more. Cajun Johnson's a guy that used to live in that TriStar dorm for years. He's paid his dues. If there's anybody that's paid his dues to the sport, it's Raging Cajun Johnson.
Yep.
Back in the MFC days, back in the ex-MMA days, fighting Steve Claveau is one of my all-time favorites. The guy's been around everywhere and he's done all that. The thing with fighting 50 times is why don't we see elite level guys with 50 fights anymore? For the most part, the odd guys, sure. It's because you can't really take that much damage, especially learning on the job. It's better to learn in the gym in a controlled environment than going out there and getting beat up. And Cajun Johnson's a guy that's got a lot of wear and tear on his body. He's got massive detached retina issues. He's had to detach retina, I believe, in his right eye a number of times. And then if you look at the fact that he's gotten his jaw broken a couple of times, Chad Laprise most notably broke it on The Ultimate Fighter, and then I believe Tae-Yun Bang broke it in his fight with him in Vancouver. I'm not saying he can't take a punch. I'm saying he may have a bit of a soft head. In this last fight against Adrian Martins, he gets dropped by Martins in the first round. Dropped hard. But he rallies, he survives. Give him credit for surviving. The second round, Martins literally does nothing. Both guys don't really do nothing, but Cajun Johnson wins the second round, and Cajun Johnson surprised me big time. I didn't think he was going to win. Another shout out to Rod Wingrove. He told me Cajun Johnson's going to beat Adriano Martins. I didn't believe it. It happened. So you can't completely write this guy off. He's long. He uses that length fairly well. He's got a very good head kick. He's got some decent power in his hands. Obviously, we saw that in his last fight. And he's a tricky fighter, right? The thing with tricky fighters is that when you fight them, they're going to show you a couple of things that you've just never seen before.
Yeah.
But in Stevie Ray's case, he's seen this shit many times in the gym. He knows how the guy strikes. He knows how the guy grapples. I would go as far as to say Cajun Johnson is better on the ground, but his wrestling's no good, so I don't think he gets Stevie Ray down. And Stevie Ray's a guy with a massive chip on his shoulder, man. He waited for his UFC contract to run out before taking that Paul Felder fight, hoping if I beat Paul Felder, I can sign a big money deal and I'll be super happy. I'll be well put, I've been fighting for a long time. This is me getting my dues. Lose to Felder, has to sit on the sidelines, doesn't get a contract. UFC calls you on short notice, you're in, you're happy to be there, but at the same time, you've got something to prove. And if Johnson's going to stand with Stevie Ray's not Adriano Martins, I'm going to stand in front of you, only throw a couple strikes and hope one of them lands. He's going to march forward. He's going to land those shots on Cajun Johnson. He's going to hurt Cajun Johnson. Johnson's, like I said, tricky, somewhat durable, despite the fact that he's been stopped many times in his career. I could see this go in the distance and Stevie Ray winning on the scorecards, but I could also see Stevie Ray landing that kill shot on him and hurting him. Got to go Stevie Ray. $8,400 on DraftKings. Buddy, all day, in on it. -175 straight betting line. Again, in on it. I'm not going to play him on every single parlay because that's how you lose. But again, I feel he's on the safe side and the price makes sense for him. So, and I say this all the time, but 1/2 of Harlem Heat, baby. How can you go against that?
Coming up next, we got Dmitry Sosnovskiy taking on Mark the Hand of Godbeer. 8,700 on DraftKings for Sosnovskiy. Godbeer is 7,500. Nobody wants to throw out a line on this one. I think because they're probably trying to figure out. They're like, wait a second. So Godbeer was supposed to take on Dmitry Preservevich or something.
Yeah.
And then they brought in some Ukrainian guy who also has the name Dmitry.
They're both Ukrainian. You're literally replacing one with another. It's
but
like
this guy, you look up and down his record, and it's first round finishes. Didn't this guy he pissed hot when he first came over, didn't he?
No, different one. This guy hasn't fought in 3 years. That's I think the biggest issue.
He's supposed to fight Ledet. That fight got canceled because.
Well, supposed to fight Ledet twice.
Yeah.
Both times got canceled, and now he's just been sitting on the sidelines. But
this is basically at the end of the day, we're looking at Mark Godbeer. Godbeer.
I think you just nailed it. It doesn't matter who he's fighting.
No.
They could still have it as a TBA. And the betting line would have to be
in the best shape of his
2
life.
to 1, 3
He's
to 1 for
only
TBA.
here right now because of that real controversial Walt Harris kick, right?
I'm lucky there's no crazy prop bets out there, and I mean crazy prop bets.
What was it? It was a disqualification. I think the ref should have stepped in, got in between. I understand that a ref wouldn't want to step in between of 2 heavyweights banging it out, but he didn't really get in the way. He didn't get in the view.
He was shouting
He was
stuff.
relying on shouting. But you're in an arena that's super, super loud, focused, laser focused. I think it's hard for Walt Harris. Walt Harris wouldn't have done that.
I agree.
Intentionally, I don't
agree.
think.
No, I agree and I disagree. Yeah, no, I don't think he did it intentionally. I think the right call there was a no contest.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. My bad as a referee. You're bad for finishing off that combo, even though I'm shouting at you and trying to grab you. Both of our bads. We're both at fault here. Let's call this a no contest. For Godbeer to get that victory, real kick in the balls. I was also really big on Walt Harris in that fight, and that obviously cost
I had him all over DraftKings, and then when that happened, it's just oh God. Everything was unfolding the way that you want it to unfold. He's about to finish this guy.
He's gonna kill this guy.
He's gonna finish him. He was about to finish him at the end of round 1 too. It's he was on the path to getting 120 points. He was doing everything and more that I could have asked for.
Yeah, no, dude, Mark Godawful literally lives up. He literally lives up to the name.
Yeah.
If you know how in stocks you can short a stock, you'd be like, dude, this is a scam. It's going down. You can bet against it. If someone would have been like, will Mark Godbeer ever make the UFC? I said no, but he does. Shit, I would have lost. Will Mark Godbeer ever win a fight in the UFC? Hell no. Beats Daniel Speeds. God damn it. But will he win 2? No, take my house. He's not going to win 2. Damn it, he won a disqualification. The guy has actually done better than I ever would have given credit for. But no, I mean, he's a former British strongman. I mean, strongman as in lifting weights. And when you see him, he's a big, jacked guy. But that never lends, Mariusz Putinowski, you could be the strongest guy in the world. Thing is that when you get to MMA or when you get to fighting in general, you're going to be very robotic, man. You're going to move very stiff. And I just feel like he's stiff. I feel like right back in the day, he fought Chai Kongo in Bellator. Chai Kongo was a 6-1 favorite. I play this all day. Chai Kongo, a guy that normally just holds guys up against the cage, finishes them by decision. He just starts kneeing him in the gut a couple times. Mark Godbeer folds right over. He's never been at that level. The one thing is, especially if you're making a line on this, with Sosnovskiy, he's been off for 3 years. He kills guys real quick, but he's been off for a long time. The thing for me is that he beat Alex Emelianenko in the first round with a knockout, and that's no easy task. And it's funny, actually, because he lists his hero as Fedor Emelianenko, yet has knocked out Alex Emelianenko. Kind of strange. But all the same, dude, he's got a lot of power. He wants to knock you out in the first round. If he doesn't knock out Godbeer in the first round.
Maybe Godbeer has a shot, but
That's the thing, dude. Who am I to doubt Godbeer anymore? I mean, the guy's got banana peel block on his side. Okay. He somehow won against Daniel Spitz just by outworking him. But now he's got a guy that's got some legitimate power that should blow him out in the first round.
Blows people away early.
But when you're undefeated, you've got to get humbled eventually. When you knock everybody out in the first round.
Godbeer is not the guy who humbles guys.
No. Here's my last greasy theory on the entire card, right? If I was to pick Godbeer, it would be a Saftic call, right? Because he would go out and get fucked up in the first round. So I'm not picking him. I think he likely gets beat up in the first round. But Sosnovskiy hopefully has been working hard on that 2-round cardio because hopefully if it takes him 6 minutes to knock this guy out, he's got to be able to go that.
And Sosnovskiy, like, the line hasn't been released, but like you got to figure that he's going to be minus 250, minus 300, I think, in this spot.
would think
even as a debutant, like 10-0, just crushes people. He's taking on Godbeer. Like, it doesn't really matter who it is. Like when you're taking on Godbeer. We'll see what the guy's got, but he's got the right opponent to shine against. Let's
Mark Godbeer's odds against Walt Harris. He was a plus 275.
Yeah.
So I would think that he's going to be at least a plus 200 versus. Yeah. That makes sense. I'd hear it.
Finally, we got Nasrat Haqparast taking on Narimani. Haqparast 8,300 on DraftKings. Narimani 7,900 on DraftKings. No betting line on this one either. What's your take? Yeah,
honestly, Narimani, who's taken the fight on about a week's notice, I would normally be on this guy all day. And I'm still going to play him. Just once again, on a card full of just these uncertainties. Like, there's no... outside of Stevie Ray, there's nobody that I think, oh man, there's no reason why this guy should lose, right? With Narimani, he's the better fighter. The thing is that he's taken the fight on a week's notice. He's had a year-long layoff, and he's jumping up from 145 pounds to 155 pounds, and he's making his UFC debut. So that's all a lot of uncertainty for guys. It's a lot of question marks for the guy. But people will most notably recognize him from beating Paddy Pimblett in Cage Warriors, won the Cage Warriors featherweight title, went 5 rounds, went a good 5 rounds. And the guy doesn't look all that bad. 30 years old, got into MMA a little bit late, kind of early 20s when he came in. Bit of a Taekwondo background, but really nothing serious. But the guy's tough, man. He's tough. He's durable. He's gone 5 rounds twice in his career. Against Alex Enlund, who also just signed to the UFC, he loses the 5-round decision in Cage Warriors. Against Paddy Pimblett, he beats him over 5 rounds. He beat Paddy when Paddy was like the hottest shit going on the regional scene. Everybody's talking about how good this guy is. Let's sign this guy to the UFC. He beats him.
Paddy the Baddie.
He beats him in the main event. Yeah, it's super fun to watch. He beats him in the main event, right? For the World Cage Warriors title, probably European title, not a world title, in Liverpool, which is Paddy's backyard, where the whole crowd's against him.
The belt that Conor used to hold.
Yeah, he goes out there and he whips his ass, man. And I honestly thought he won 49-46. One of the judges had a 50-45, which I think is very reasonable. And the one judge that tried to rob him could only get away with giving him a 46 or a 47-46, 3 rounds to 2, because he beat him. He beat him striking, mostly with just these overhand rights and lefts. He's got power, closed that distance pretty good. And whenever Paddy would move forward, that's when he would level change, hit those takedowns. When he's on the ground, his grappling's pretty good. He checks out. He's good. The thing is that he's good at 145 pounds. And the thing with Nasrat is that he used to fight at 170. He currently fights at 155. And in the fight with Marcin Held, we realize he's not very good on the ground, although didn't get submitted by Marcin Held, who's a world-class grappler, and he was getting taken down. But geez, if I'm fighting a smaller guy that's trying to take me down and I can keep this fight standing, I got some big power. This guy, Narimani is not a good crisp boxer. He's got power, but he likes to throw overhands. So what would happen if Nasrat keeps the fight standing, uses his big power, uses those kicks, kind of works him? Like, it's a question mark.
Yeah, it's a dicey one.
The thing with Narimani is that when he fought Paddy Pimblett, Paddy is 22 years old and is viewed as hot shit, good prospect. But this guy's 30. He's been training for longer, and he's bigger.
So he exploited an overhyped young kid. We've seen this. That tale happens in MMA all the time. See Brian Barberena versus Sage Northcutt.
Of course. And so Nasrat, He's 22 years old, same age,
Yeah.
young prospect. He's smoking guys on the German. He lost his debut in MMA, and then he goes on an 8-fight winning streak. He's dusting guys in the German regional scene. He gets this big opportunity because they're in Poland to fight Marcin Held. He's cannon fodder for Marcin Held to win his first fight.
He didn't show out too bad in that fight.
No, he didn't look that bad. And I think that talks more about Marcin Held really probably wasn't as good as we thought he was.
Yeah.
But the guy didn't look bad. But we realized that, he's in over his head. He's getting taken down. These are all things that Narimani can do. Those are all things that I expect Nod to do. I expect Nod to get the nod, especially because it's in his hometown. Not his hometown, but he's going to be in England against this coming over German fighter. And with Nazareth, it's that... Well, again, you're 22, you're 0-1 in the UFC, you hadn't fought anybody at this level before Marcin Held to fight that. You had a decent third round, but Marcin Held diving on ankles, you know what I mean? And he's still getting you down, and when he gets you down, he's dominating you on the ground. Like, I think that we've got one guy that's a decent prospect in Narimani. Hopefully he goes back to 145 after this fight's done. And I think you got the guy in Nazareth that, like I said earlier, I mean, he's one of those guys like a Tom Duquesnoy. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's going to need some time to develop, right? Give this guy 5 more fights in the regional scene. Let this guy come over and fight for LFA a couple times, right? Like, even Charles Byrd actually has the benefit that he fought twice for Dana White's Contender Series, which is a step in the right direction. It's kind of getting some bright lights on you and fighting some decent fellow fighters that's going to grow you. But in this case, it's like I've beaten schmucks, and I got my first step up against Marcin Held and I lose, and now I'm taking a fight against a guy that I probably haven't really had much time to research, who's tough, he's durable, and the guy went 5 rounds twice already, man. Talk about experience. How many regional show fighters making their UFC debut has got 2 5-round fights under their belt? Not very many. He's probably more experienced than this would dictate. So I don't know what the line is yet. I fully expect him to be the favorite, and depending on the price, I'm interested in taking a play. But the week's notice and the move up to 55, those are the uncertainties that
Those are the risks that you take.
This is MMA, man. They probably all have inadvertent risk. I mean, I think I just wishy-washy this entire card saying how both guys had a shot. But it's a tough card, man. It's one of those greasy European cards with some unknown guys and some known guys and some struggling guys and some uncertainty. And mix it all together and you have a 12-fight card.
I have a bone to pick with you.
Bone to pick with me. Oh.
You're making all of these hot boxing plays this week, and your good pal, Shag, over.
I know.
I was doing nothing. I could have been betting on, I don't even know the name of the boxer that you, plus 300 by decision in Texas. A bunch of people follow Cody in between UFC fight weeks to, follow Cody in general at CJ Saftic, but follow him in between UFC because he's got the itch. And when he's got the itch, he finds these underdogs, plus 300 underdog, if you want to take that away. Talk about the play and how you knew it was a lock at plus 300.
Yeah, well, it definitely seemed like a lock. So he was fighting Rancis Barthélemy, and they'd already had fought about a year ago. Barthélemy wins a contentious decision where he low-blowed Red like 4 times, never lost a point, close fight. Now they're doing a direct rematch, which in boxing, how many times do you get an immediate rematch for a world title? It's because the first fight was close.
Yeah, and they put it in the one guy's hometown.
No, because he's Russian. But here's the thing.
Okay.
He's a Russian brawler. He just moves forward and throws bombs. So now they got him fighting in Texas. Well, that's pretty much how Mexican fighters fight. They move forward, they throw bombs. You can beat a brawler. You just got to out-finesse him. And this Cuban guy, Rancis Barthélemy, I mean, he's 27-0. He's legit. He could potentially outbox him. But I watched the first fight, and he's not going to outbox him. He has to brawl with him. He wasn't going to win the brawl. That was fine. The plus 300, love it. Plus 180 on the money line, good times. I appreciate people.
Well, you had parlay. You made like.
That was the move. That was the move. Oscar Valdez by decision, Mikey Garcia by decision. You parlay the 3 of them together, and I had Eric De Leon and.
You had a plus 300 on a parlay, and you cashed like $4,500 or something. I saw.
Yeah, $125 parlay.
Yeah,
to
4,500.
Yeah, to cash $4,400.
Give me some of these hot picks moving forward.
I'm gonna give you.
That's my bone that I'm picking with you. Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
I want that money. I don't know anything about any of those boxes that you just. I know who Danny Garcia is. I think he was on that list.
Oh, okay.
There was one guy who was minus 500. I think he just threw it on because you're just like, that's something.
Dude, straight up, it was minus 5,000.
That's what I meant. Yeah, 5,000.
Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy Ruiz Jr. is a fat fuck, man. He's 300 pounds. He's so tough, and he's got mad power. And his opponent, 4 pro losses. All knockout.
Yeah.
Like you just knew Ruiz was gonna knock him out. He knocks him out in the first. Probably didn't add much, but he's a lock. Parlay it together.
Couldn't you have parlayed it by knockout?
No, they didn't offer the prop on my site. Very greasy. Yeah. They knew Ruiz wasn't going to beat him by decision, I'm sure. Yeah. Who knows? This is a big thing with boxing. Boxing always a little bit. There's probably more robberies in boxing, so you always got to worry about that. But when you're breaking down a fight in terms of who you want to bet in boxing, okay? Fighter A, he throws left hands and right hands. And fighter B, shit, he likes to throw left hands and right hands. But Peter fucking Sobotta could take him to the ground, and he could kick him, and Fabrizio Werdum might not take him down. Like, dude,
that's why you don't see the minus 5,000s in MMA.
This shit is unpredictable.
Like, even Cyborg, who should have been a bigger favorite against Yana Kunitskaya, there was really no path to victory for Kunitskaya there.
Yeah.
Unless she did, even in round 1, get to the back, and that was her best path to victory. You kind of saw Cyborg just kind of laughing it off, and it's just like as soon as you saw like the little gleam in Cyborg's eye, you're just like, uh-oh, Yana's dead. Actually, Pogi Rob was, I watched that fight with him.
Oh, yeah.
And
good old Pogi.
He had bet Cyborg in round 3. It was like 18-1 or something. And he was just like, as soon as Yana like attacked her, got to her back, he's just like, oh no. Because he's like, now Cyborg's gonna kill her faster. He's like, I think he was thinking like, Cyborg may show some mercy and drag her around till round 3. I was just like, she's gonna finish her in round 1, and she did.
Oh, dude, well,
but like 18-1 wasn't too outrageous.
No, and here's
Yana wanted no part.
Here's what almost got me. Okay, so I have this parlay. Andy Ruiz, he gets the first round knockout. It's easy, right? Now Oscar Valdez is taking on Scott Quigg from Britain, and Scott Quigg is taking by decision. Scott Quigg is taking everything like a champ. Like 2-3 punch combination, hits him, no head snap back, literally just takes it like he's having a sandwich, walks forward the whole time, but that's not going to win you on the scorecard. So Oscar Valdez gets the decision, plus 125. Okay, this parlay is heading in the right direction. Now I got Relic coming up here. He beats the brakes off Barthélemy. I thought it was 12-0 for Relic. If you had it 11-1, that was best case scenario. He wins the decision. That's the plus 300. Now all I need is Mikey Garcia to win a decision. Mikey Garcia is a 20-1 favorite against Sergey Lipinets. Like, there's no doubt in the world that he's going to win. The question is if he's going to knock him out or not. Plus 125 on Garcia. Third round of the fight, I'm like, shit. There's no way this Russian guy is going to take this beating for 12. He's getting messed up. Right eye starts to shut. Now it's like round 6. Mikey Garcia takes the foot off the brakes. He's up 6. He's hit this guy with plenty of shots. I'm fine. Round 10, Paul, okay? His right eye is shutting fast. His left eye is shutting fast. His nose is likely broken, and his jaw seems dislocated. It's swollen out to here. And I'm like, the ref might stop this, and the corner might stop this. But his trainer, Buddy McGirt, is not stopping this. The Russian guy takes the beating. He wins the decision. Yeah, no, happy with that. I'd love to give people some solid plays on some MMA. That's where my fan base is. That's where I want to make you the money. So as greasy as this card is and as terrible as most of these lines are.
But it's an afternoon card. I like, if it's going to be a bad card, afternoon, European styles, like what starting at like 12 o'clock. In the afternoon, maybe even earlier.
Like
you wake up,
card at 5.
you roll in, you're on Fight Pass. Everything goes super, super quick because there's no BS until the main card where it transfers to TV in some places around the world. So quick fights, the Fight Pass pacing is always a good time. So yeah, you can follow.
St. Patrick's Day, man. What a built-in excuse to be like, honey, I'm having a beer at 12 because I'm watching the fights. And then by the time the card's done, around 8 o'clock, you are good to go. Good to go. And
you've got all the fighting out of your system so you don't have to get your inner Irish and start fighting people at the bar.
And with a little bit of luck, you're going to have some extra money in your pocket. Go have a good time.
You can follow Cody on Twitter at CJ Saftic. You can follow me at Paul Shag. Want to thank Pat Mayo for doing all the sweet directing and producing and switching and all that stuff behind the cameras there. Want to thank Cody, obviously, for breaking down the fights with me. For both of those guys, I am Paul Shaughnessy saying goodbye and good luck.